we're just going to dive in. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm really good with that, and
All right.
I will do my very best to be authentic, be real, and tell the untold story.
I know you to be no other way. So with that, let's talk about your family and your family upbringing. One of the things that I know about you is you are a child of four. You come from mom and dad of four. You are the oldest, and then there's three girls following you.
That's correct.
That's a lot. Tell me about just that upbringing. It sounds like from day one you had a responsibility of protecting some girls, your sisters.
Well, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. I am a Palestinian Christian. My parents immigrated from Palestine, with a small city named Ramallah, 7 miles north of Jerusalem. I was one of four children, and correct, I was the oldest and the only son. And from day one, Dad was hardworking. Mom was a stay-at-home mother, and I've got these three younger sisters, and a lot of great memories. But I quickly embraced that whole big brother protective role, and there were times where my dad would have to travel because he was at that time a dry goods salesman. There's some people call him a peddler, a flea market man. And he'd be gone for 10 days at a time, 2 weeks. And
so you were now the man of the house.
I was the man of the house. And my childhood, honestly, as I look back at it, we didn't have a lot of means. But I never realized that we didn't have a lot of means because I lived in a home where love was present and family was present. And I really didn't realize, and I think this is funny, until I went to high school and realized that my car was maybe not the nicest car in the parking lot. I didn't realize anything else because we always had a home-cooked meal, we had love, we had parents, we had a great time. So, yeah, I embraced that role.
So here's another thing for you. I hear you worked for your dad at his packing store. So age 13, 14, you were already working.
Yeah, I worked for my father in two different scenarios. I've worked for my dad. I worked as a lawyer for 5 years for someone, as an apprenticeship, I would call it. And those are the only two jobs I've ever had other than opening my own firm.
Sure.
But back to my dad, it was two parts. Before my dad had saved up enough money to buy his first C-store or convenience store or package store, I worked with him in the flea markets.
Okay.
And I worked with him when he went out of town in the attempt to sell dry goods. And then at the age of 13 is when he actually had saved enough money. It was about 1979, right? Where he bought his first C-store, and then I became what I call a store clerk.
Okay.
And carried that on all the way through, obviously, high school, and then actually through college, and believe it or not, actually through law school. My dad finally sold the package store in 2007 at the age of 70, and
he worked till the age of 70.
My father did, and I guess if you do the math, he had that package store, and it was a good store in all honesty for about 28 years. And it was open 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Were you there 7 days a week?
I would say that I honestly spent, I don't even want to look back at it, to be honest with you. I can't tell you how many hours I spent in that C-store between the age of about 13 to 35. But the C-store will always be a blessing to me. It's here in Birmingham. I still pass by it sometimes, and I have these fond memories because that store allowed me and my three sisters and my parents to live a good middle-class life. It was, it paid for 4 different weddings. It paid for all our colleges. It paid for all our vacations. I mean, it was a blessing of all blessings. But when they call them 7-Elevens, there's a reason they call them 7-Elevens.
Got it. So let's talk about that blessing. You are working with your dad, who is an entrepreneur. How has that shaped you in terms of who you are today as a businessman? What characteristic do you bring from back then that you still hold today?
I think what I hold on to more than anything is my dad. I mean, and it's cliche, but look, my dad taught me hard work. My dad taught me you cannot be an absentee owner. I see that a lot in the law business.
Yes, we do.
I see it too much, and that's a subject that you can explore with me anytime. I mean, lawyers want to know why their business is not doing well. And
Be present.
You know, they're absentees. And it taught me people skills, you know, and it taught me basic principles of maybe not as a sophisticated level that we are here today, but, you know, sometimes a penny saved is a penny earned. You know, it taught me the principles of, you know, the retail space, customer satisfaction, that you can apply to the law business. You know, working the books, showing a profit.
Sure.
You know, one of the traits I learned from my father is if you're doing good in an area, you always push that area.
So
you
play
know?
to your strengths.
Yeah, play to your strengths. You know, I mean, if your wine section starts to do well, then expand your wine selection. You know, and if you're, I'm being kind of funny, you know, all stores are a certain amount of space. I mean, if you're not selling any potato chips, take the potato chips out.
Right.
Plus the potato chips, you only can make a quarter, right? Versus maybe a bottle of wine, you can make $5. You know, just basic principles. Principles you have to learn in life and apply to whatever business or setting you're in.